Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second round of the KPMG PGA Women's Championship. I am Mark Rolfing, if you don't know me, from NBC and the Golf Channel, and I thank you all very much for having me up here today. I'm going to introduce you now to the star of the show, who has been so gracious to come in this afternoon, 20-time winner, multiple major winner on the LPGA, one of the great players really on the women's side of the game in history. Please welcome Christie Kerr. Okay, let me, I'm going to try to
Are we standing or are we
No,
sitting?
we're sitting.
Okay.
I'm going to try and say this without throwing the men's side of the game under the bus, but I obviously, for those of you who watch me quite a bit, I'm more on the men's side of the game than I am the LPGA, but I can almost unequivocally tell you that if this were Friday afternoon on the PGA Tour at 2:30, and a player had just been grinding like Christie Kerr has all day today and all day yesterday to play a very difficult course, this would not be happening on a Friday afternoon. So I think that says a lot about Christie Kerr. I also think it says a lot about you all. Thank you. All right, so my first question, Christie, is having gone through what you just went through for 5 hours out there, what does it say to you about the importance of KPMG and this tournament in general for you to drop the clubs off in there and come straight into here?
Well, I have to tell you, I was going to add to your point, not trying to throw the men's tour under the bus, but there are very few companies that support men and women, and KPMG has done a fantastic job of supporting the LPGA players, sponsoring LPGA players, elevating this championship to an elite status. And I'm proud to be a past champion, and I'm so proud of everything they've done. I mean, when Stacey Lewis was pregnant and couldn't play a full year, they paid her sponsorship. And I mean, there's very few companies that would do that. And being a mom on tour, I hope my sponsors would do the same thing if I was in the same situation. We had to go about it a different way, obviously, but I mean, that is just so tremendous.
This has become, at least for my money, the best event in women's golf. You played in this championship for many years before it went through this transformation the last 5 years, sort of a total re-energizing, a rebranding, getting a whole new mission and purpose for the tournament. What have been the biggest changes in your mind, and what have you seen that KPMG has done to elevate this championship so much?
Well, I think KPMG has obviously elevated the purse and elevated, I mean, all of the hospitality, all the tents you see around the golf course, and it brings fans in. It really does feel like a major championship out there, and I mean, this golf course is playing tough right now. It is. I'm happy to come inside out of 30-mile-an-hour winds, and you know, but every facet of this tournament. You know, and partnering with the PGA as well of America, I feel like has elevated the status of this championship.
So Christie, in case you're not keeping score on your phones, is sitting on 5 over, right? She's sitting on 5 over par, and there's a chance it's going to make the cut. There's a chance it's not. So if everybody could sort of gather up all the mojo and karma you have for a little wind to start blowing out there this afternoon, that would be a good thing.
I think it's working already.
I was walking with you a few holes yesterday out there watching. I don't know that I've ever seen a major championship golf course this long in the women's game that requires the type of shot making that this one does. Put into perspective for the folks what the test at Hazeltine has been like.
Yeah, this has been I would say the longest major championship golf course I've played in recent history, where it hasn't been just puddles of rain and water everywhere. You know, it's playing roughly 6,900 yards, and the comparison that our caddies did was if the PGA, comparatively how far we hit it to the PGA Tour players, if the PGA Tour players were playing on this golf course, comparatively, it would have played 8,150 yards. So it is playing quite long out there. The tees are not up yet. Hopefully I make the weekend so I can get those up tees. But it's playing so long. I mean, even into par fives, we're hitting 3 woods and 5 woods to lay up and having 7, 8 irons in. And if you hit in the rough, you got to chase like a hybrid or a 5 iron on the green. I mean, this is a real golf course here.
She's talking about hybrids and 3 woods. I watch the men play a lot. I see a lot of 3 woods and hybrids. And when I watch basically the men's tour doing that, I think they are good shots if the ball gets up somewhere around the green. With the women, I have seen so many of the women that are so proficient at that part of the game. I actually think that I see more balls that end up on the green with hybrids and 3 woods than I do in the men's side. Would that be a correct assessment, do you think?
I think it's because we're good, Mark Rolfing. Yes.
Yes. What motivates you to keep doing this after all these years of tremendous success, and you go out there now and play with and watch these younger players? What motivates you to keep going?
Winning. I mean, winning. You know what? Golf is a crazy game, and I've learned that you can have 4 bad months of golf, and then all of a sudden, your game comes together for 4 days, and you end up winning a tournament, and you're like, well, what did I do differently? That's the game of golf. And so you never stop trying, you never give up. I mean, I was 4 over after 6 holes yesterday. I'm sitting at 5 now, so I never gave up. I mean, I missed more greens these 2 days than I have in any tournament I can remember. You know, having long clubs into the greens, you know, these 2 days, you have to be hitting it pretty well, because if you're not, you're going to be missing a lot of greens. And I can tell you, I got up and down and grinded on so many par putts the last 2 days, and if I was a quitter, I wouldn't be sitting here with a chance to make the cut. So I think that I never give up, and I think that's who I am. So I think that's why I keep playing the game. And I think when I do finally hang it up, it will be because of injuries and because it's really too hard body-wise and health-wise to do it, but I'm not there yet.
When you do finally hang it up, what are you going to do? And this is a loaded question. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well, I might do some TV stuff. I'm hoping to do some
Anybody think she'd be
stuff.
pretty good on TV, huh?
Definitely some wine stuff. Hopefully have
Doing the
100-point
wine stuff now, yeah. So I'll tell you a little story. At the Waste Management Phoenix Open this year, Christie was hanging out on our Golf Channel set, which was a pretty good place to hang out on the 16th hole.
Still couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, you still can't hear anything. But it came to my attention from somebody that Christie was thinking about maybe having television be a big part of her future, and that actually she might be angling for my job. So she was on the back of the set, and I went over to her, and we started talking and did this and that. And I just kind of mentioned it to her, heard you might be interested and might be angling for my job. And she said, absolutely not. No way. I'm not even thinking about it. I got a lot of winning to do still yet. I'm not even thinking about TV yet. But I will tell you, I think when she does make that transition, she's
They
gonna
are
be good.
trying to lure me to the dark side. That's what they call it, the dark side.
When you, yeah, you'll change your mind. Just like Justin Leonard, we were talking about it last week at the U.S. Open. He wouldn't give us the time of day the last time the U.S. Open was at Pebble Beach. When you look at the young players, the tremendous talent that's on the LPGA now, and you look at yourself and your game, what do you have to do better now in order to beat that type of player than you did, say, 2 decades ago?
I just need to get my game back to where I win tournaments. I mean, yeah, they do hit it further. A lot of them do hit it further, but my short game and my putting's as good as anybody's. And I just need to get back to hitting it better. Like, I haven't hit it great last year and so far this year as a whole. And I feel like I'm rebuilding my golf swing in a sense. I had gotten like really foldy with my arms and lost the width in my golf swing, got really narrow and steep coming down. And as you know, Mark Rolfing, it takes a while to get that out of your golf swing, especially in windy conditions when you're hitting 5 irons and hybrids into greens. So, and under pressure. So I feel like slowly but surely I'm getting it back. I started to hit it great actually at Kings Mill and at the Open. I didn't have a good putting week at the Open, which is abnormal. But I started to hit a lot better, and then my back started kind of acting up, and then I had to take some time off, and so that hurt me a bit. So I'm slowly but surely I need to get back into the gym consistently again too, because I feel like when I'm stronger, I get less injured, and that helps my golf swing and the strength to move the club around.
Anybody out here struggle with their putting? If you struggle with your putting, raise your hand out here. I said on the air yesterday that Christie Kerr, I thought, was one of the top 5 putters I had ever watched in my career, male or female. I totally believe that that's the truth. How did you become such a good putter? Were you always a good putter? Can you teach yourself to be a good putter, or is it you're born a good putter?
I mean, I think some people can certainly teach themselves to be a good putter, but I think there's definitely, listen, do I have the most perfect stroke in the game? No. But am I maybe one of the most mentally strong as far as the process that needs to happen to hit a putt, for you to be able to hit the putt that you're intending to hit, to be able to give it the best chance to go in? Probably. So, I've been blessed with that. I have always been a good putter. I've been blessed to be a good putter. So I'm lucky about that. But I think it's nice. I used to practice as a kid, putting for hours and hours, because I thought it was just the easiest thing to do. It wasn't, weren't exerting yourself. You weren't getting tired. You see the ball go in the hole. You get the most reward getting the ball in the hole. And it's always been my favorite part of the game. And even great putters struggle a little bit at times with putting then and here and there, but as a whole, you always bring it back to center, and you always putt really well if you're a good putter. But there's a big belief that goes with that, to know, even if it gets a little off, you know how to bring it back. And I feel like I'm blessed that I've had that.
You played in the Pro-Am with some of my colleagues. When you look at amateur players and you see them having putting problems, what basically do you think is the biggest mistake that most amateur golfers, recreational golfers, make with putting?
I feel like amateur golfers as a whole have way too many moving parts. They move their legs around, they move their upper body around, when you just need to stay still and swing the putter. Like, if you just had your right arm and you were told, hey, you couldn't move, and you just had to swing your right arm to hit the putt, I mean, that's really all you have to do. And amateurs have a lot of moving parts, and I haven't even scratched the surface with the mental component of that.
What are you going to do for the rest of the afternoon as you watch the scores now?
I think I'm going to go practice a little bit, and I don't know, maybe I'll come visit you guys in the trailer.
All right. How about a big round of applause, everybody, for Christie Kerr. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.